Hi, welcome to the review of Too Many Bones. There's a lot in this game, so I'm not going to go through how it plays and all parts to it. Just wanted to know that this map is actually extra. It's not in the base game, but it adds a lot to the feel of the game. And you can put your boss card like on the space where it's going to be. It's going to take 6 turns to get here, and you can track that with a nice little glass thing that comes with the base game. Every time you get one point towards the enemy, you can follow along the track like this, which is quite nice. Makes it really easy to follow. As you can see, there's a lot of components and Too Many Bones, so this game is quite a table hog. It's quite hard to get into. There's a lot of rules, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of reading you need to do. This rule book, I believe to start with, wasn't brilliant. Actually, now it's quite good. It's got your turn, the enemy's turn, what the mats do, what the things do, how you start, some actual examples, some technical questions and things, and then some unexplained bits and like units and things that are really useful for reference. And each character comes along with their own reference card, which looks something like this. The Picket we've got now is the last guy I've actually tried. I've been through all of the characters now in the main box. This tells you what all of his 16 dice do, what the icons are for, and then on the back what his backup plan is and some strats for beginners and what his abilities do, and then a bit more information about how to play him. And you also have a good map, little cheat sheet here as well for the main baddie encounter skills, which is really necessary and useful. It takes a while to get used to all of these. Gives you the battle sequence, how to follow it. Then on the other side, it also tells you how the adventure works, so your encounter, your recovery and spoils and stuff, and then when your new day starts and how to work it round. This also gives you symbols again for what's on your encounter card and how to read them, how to get your training points, how to do the lock picking, which you might not be able to see. It's just off to the side over here. The lock picking is do it with 4 dice. So these 4 dice are integral to the actual lockpicking mechanic if you want to get any of these excellent trove loots, which are normally quite powerful, such as, for example, something like this: ignore 1 bones roll when attempting any training attempt. That's really useful because if you get a bone when you're trying to do your attack or your defense up, then you're not allowed to actually take that as the thing you want, and then you have to either add it into health or dexterity, which you might not want at the time. There's all sorts of things in here. First, if we look at the character mats, they're complex, they're hard to understand, they take a while. I've played Picket once and I still don't fully understand him, but he was fun. He's more of your shield type tanky character. Picket has 16 spaces, as all of them do, for skill dice. The yellow ones here are consumables that you can use once and then go. He's got like shield type of things, and these are permanent boosts that you can get. These are really handy for him. His number 1, his number 2, his number 5. And getting used to how these all work and where they go in the active and locked slots is quite difficult. It takes a bit of time. He has his own dice for initiative for when you're battling to see where he's going to go in the turn order. He has the nice chip to represent him and a starred side for his special once he's got to his innate +1 after having loads of bones in this column. If he gets to 6, you can flip him over and get a little bit of a better skill for him. And he's got health chips, and he's got all his stat chips. It tells you if he's melee or ranged, which then we'll refer to on the battle grid over here. This will say where you can start. Any of your gearlock characters, which are your heroes, they can start in these. Ranged goes at the front, melee at the back. Ranged have to move to attack, which can be tricky to get used to. And you've got also loads of enemy chips. These 20-point ones for the battle I've just done against Drellen. I lost, but this tells you which enemies to take. So there's a load more to it. How the battles start, how you move around. There's only obviously 16 spaces here, which makes it tense. The characters, some of them are really hard to beat. They have really annoying things that drain your pool of battle dice and your dice stuff. It's known as the game's a dice RPG. It says it's a dice builder RPG, which is quite the deck, you start without any of these things, and you start without any upgrades to your stats as well. None of these bones, none of the stuff in there, and you have to build it up as you go through the adventure. Each day brings a new card out of your pack, which I have to say is quite a nice system, and you've got a card on the front so it blocks seeing what comes next. But then after that, you can see the green, and you normally have a special encounter from the Tyrant in your deck, which is blue, which I find a bit annoying, to be honest, because I want to have that green as well, so I don't know it's coming. If I know it's coming, I can kind of be like, oh, I want to dodge that, it sounds bad. Or if I know what it is, then I might want to be like, oh yeah, that's good, actually, I'll try and get that. So if it's about 6 or 7 in and you've got enough progress points to fight the baddie, and your little glass thing is over here by him ready to fight, and you see you've got a blue coming up next, you might be like, oh, I don't want to do that, I'm going to just try and fight him now. And that can be a bit annoying. So I think that would have been better if they'd made them the same colour, just to improve on like you all not knowing what's coming up, making it as random as possible. The loot cards are really good. As you can see, I've sleeved all my loot cards. The trove loot is quite difficult to get. The components are great. These chips are brilliant. I haven't upgraded to the premium chips, but I think these are fine. I don't know why I would want to. But as you can see, there's lots of dice. Then there's more dice for the character. Then there's more dice over here for attack and defense dice. The white is attack, orange defense. You've got stat dice. Then all your bosses have their own separate dice. As you can see, I've got the one out for Drellen here. He's more of a poison character. So as you can see, oh, sorry, the lighting's kind of a bit funny. This is 2 poison, and the other symbol for him gives you more poison effects on your poison you've currently got, ups it by 1, I think. So that can be really annoying. So for his character and his type of enemies you fight against, yeah, that's really well thought through. The battle's great. The way it's done is brilliant. The characters that come out for him are more poisonous and quite hard to fight, so therefore you need a good blend of your characters. Some are weaker, like Pickett's not got a lot of great defense against poison, but he has got great defense against attacks and good health regeneration even on its own. But some of the other characters give you health. Some of the other characters have got kind of like rage mechanics where they build up rage and then they can do stuff. Some of the characters have got other things, or more range specialists. Gilio I've just bought is like got a bow and arrow. Excellent, great fun to play. I love all the stuff. The way you pick your adventure, you can pick any of the starting, I think 6 or 7 enemy characters, and then take their special encounter as well that goes in the adventure deck. So you got 6 or 7 one-shot adventure runs with 4 characters in the base game. So that gives you at least 28 true solo games. And then obviously if you're going to play 2-player, or if you're going to play solo with 2 characters, you've got tons and tons of replayability in this. So for me, this game is amazing. Once you get used to all the rules and you figure out how to play, and you've watched loads of videos because you have to, because it's really difficult to understand, it kind of starts to come together and it all really makes sense. The fighting is tense and difficult on the battle map, as I said before, there's 16 spaces, so it's really crucial where you go and what you're doing and how you can defend yourself. Try and get yourself in a position where the enemies can't come around and attack you from a ranged perspective, and then take out the long range enemies as soon as you can if they're doing a lot of damage. Or sometimes they have engulf where they can damage themselves. Do you leave them to damage themselves and then take out the others? Or, you know, the strategy for how to do it is really, really fun. Each day you go into it, the battles get harder, but you get stronger. Your gearlock mat here will fill up with more stuff and more stats as you go. Normally you pick up 1 or 2 training stats a day, or on a loot card, or 2 and just training. So you can choose to do any of these things you want pretty much. You always have to start on the stars and then follow the arrows around if they're stars. And then consumables, they're normally got in another way, but it depends on the character. So there's loads going on. I've fallen in love with this game now. I think it's absolutely amazing. I think for me personally, I would give it a 9.5 or even a 10 out of 10. If you're into this type of game, then I would suggest going and getting it. It's amazing. It is a bit expensive, but with the premium components and these really nice mats that are sewn all around the edges proper neoprene. They fit the dice perfectly. They've been really well made. The chips are all excellent. This is just the baddie chip. I said 20.1. It's got all your symbols on, which I haven't explained, but you can learn that yourself. There's loads of stuff on them. The pictures are cool. The enemies have got their own little special ones. There's like a few different ones of these. They've got their own attacks and styles. And I would definitely recommend getting this. It's a big thumbs up from me.